Welcome to my stories. I am glad you are here. We are on this journey together. Blue, my love. Part 2. Chris could not see clearly in the building. To look for the child as the smoke from the raging fire slowly began to blind his eyes. After a few minutes, the voice of the child just vanished. Chris then decides to head out of the apartment. While on the way out, suddenly there was a fierce gush of wind blowing through. The fire began to spread wilder, and he found himself stuck as his visibility was zero. Blue was eagerly waiting for Chris to return from the apartment safely, but no sign of him. As he's still not out yet, Blue felt something was not right. She knew she had to do something to save him. She had no choice rather than using her powers, or she will never be able to see him again. Without thinking twice, Blue decided to use her powers, and she created drops of water in the form of heavy rainfall. A few minutes later, the rain disseminated the fire. As the fire was put out, the image of Chris appeared, and he managed to head out of the apartment safely. Immediately, Blue dashed towards Chris and hugged him so tightly. Ekma and Velma watched from far away as the incident took place. Both left the place immediately and headed back to palace to notify their parents of what happened. They alarmed their parents by saying that Blue had broken the rules which were being taught to her. Parents asked in detail and got extremely frustrated and disappointed with the news. The king immediately summoned his first daughter to bring Blue at once. Ekma and Velma were happy as their plan was successful. They both then congratulated each other. I created the fire, but you, sister, with your power, you managed to blow and stop him from coming out. There's nothing that can be done by Blue rather than using a power. Nice move, Velma. Blue will no longer be the apple of the eye of our parents. While the two sisters were celebrating their victory with much excitement, they did not notice the presence of Heather. Heather heard everything and remained silent and left to see Blue. Blue, Dad wants you to come at once. She was shocked and asked why it was so urgent, Heather. Heather explained what happened, how angry their parents were, and who was behind this. They did all this out of jealousy. You were the most beautiful and powerful among us. Sister, you are in big trouble now, which I did tell you what is going to happen earlier. I don't know whether I can help in this. I'm sorry. I can't disobey Dad. Upon hearing all this, Blue was upset, and she quickly headed back to palace to justify herself. Upon arriving there, she saw all of them were angry with her. The king said, I am very disappointed with your actions. You should not have broken the God's rules. Firstly, you are forbidden from going out of your work area. Second, you are not supposed to go see that guy anymore. And lastly, you are not allowed to enter the palace for the next 10 years. Blue burst into tears and tried to convince her parents. Thus no one wanted to listen to her or help her out. I have all the rights to love, be loved. What can I do? so that you all will forgive and accept my love. Heather and Sunny held Blue's hand and said to their parents to give her another chance. Please, I can't see her crying, Dad. Please give her a chance. The king kept silent for a minute and said, I will approve if she follows my condition. Let's see the guy willing to wait for her how long. Now ask her to leave. Blue left with heartbroken. Since Blue is not allowed to see Chris, she asks help from her sister Heather, who she trusts so much, to inform Chris what happened. Heather meets Chris and explains the situation and the conditions set by the father. Before leaving, Heather's last words were, she loves you a lot. Don't let her down. As usual, Blue began to continue a routine as the caretaker, overseeing the ocean. She noticed from far beyond the sea that a boat was approaching her. As the boat came closer to her, she could slowly see the image of a person, which reminded her of Chris. As the boat rocked a bit, it was Chris, it was you. He looked at her and said, Blue, I came this far searching for you. My soul kept roaming for you when you disappeared, leaving me all alone. I'm so lonely without you beside me. Finally, he just uttered these words, life is meaningless without you, dear. I love you, Blue, with all my heart and soul. Please do not ask me to leave. You are restricted to seeing me, but not me. Blue was speechless. As time goes by, at least once a week, Chris will come to see Blue at the ocean. 40 years later, Chris looked at Blue and said, Dear, you still look beautiful even after so many years. But I'm looking old, darling. But my love has never changed for you, Blue. I'm still deeply in love with you as the first day. Blue was touched. Chris, you are the greatest thing that happened in my life. Without fail, you visited me. Now everyone knows that no one can stop us from loving each other. Chris, next week I have a surprise for you. Be early. A week passed. He came by. She invited him to step into a wonderful water castle that was created especially for him. In the castle, Blue held 2 rings which were crafted with an ocean blue emblem in. Blue fell in her knees and asked Chris to marry her. Will you marry me, Chris? Chris was astonished and lifted Blue and said, I have been waiting for this all of my life. I do. They exchanged rings and kissed. He fell into the water castle and blew his last breath. She smiled and she was waiting for this. She put his body into the ocean. They exchanged rings and kissed. He then fell into the water castle and blew his last breath. She smiled and she put his body in the ocean. The soul was out of the body. She used her powers and gave him an immortal life again as a husband. The king, queen, Heather and Velma were watching everything. They approved and blessed them. They happily started a new life. True love is like a sea. It's very deep and hard to see the ending. Their love, there's no ending. The end. Thank you for listening till end of this sweet journey of my stories. Stay tuned for another story of mine on my channel, My Stories.